Why do Africans hate tribal marks? I mean, it's a thing that we used to celebrate, right? But today, it's a thing that is seen as taboo. So on today's segment, we're really going to be exploring that question. We'll be right back. Hello everybody, thank you for clicking my channel. My name is Imoitinya and I am a visual storyteller. What is tribal marks? Let me tell you what that is. It's a peculiar markings that is done on the face or on the body, and is a way for the African people to identify their tribes. They do it for several reasons, right? For identification purposes. During the transatlantic slave trades, slaves actually were given tribal marks with the hopes that if they ever return home, they'll be able to trace the villages. And also from my personal experiences as it relates to identity, I was in Washington DC one year at a bus station, and a man walked in, and immediately the man saw my face. He knew exactly where I was from in Nigeria. He said to me, "You're from Edo State." And I remember it was quite it was shocking, first off, because I've left home for so long, and second off, it was just really cool to know that somebody can look at you and just go, "Oh, you're from this part of the world, and you're from this part of the world, and you're from this part of the world." I mean, very specific. So I thought it was remarkable. And other reasons why tribal marks are done is for decoration. I mean, when you look at these images, you see that the bodies are used as canvases, right? You look at these intricate prints that are done. I mean, all of these intricate prints have meanings. Another reason why they do it is for spiritual healing. We believe in the ancestral practice of our forefathers and foremothers, and so parents will really do this to drive away evil spirits such as obanje or witches. And for example, in Ghana, they would mark the bodies of their children as a way to drive away death. So this was a thing that people did back then, right? Now here's an image of objects that are used to make these lacerations on the skin. Some people also use the shell of a snail. That is a very sharp object. And then there are blades that are also used. I mean, here's an image of a little baby who is being marked. Now in some culture, the lacerations are done when the babies are young, and in other tribes it is done when the person is older. Now there are positive and negative to tribal markings. Let's talk about the positive. I'll share the positive based on this article that was actually of a young boy who was being trafficked. Now this boy was going to be sold. The buyer noticed that this little boy had tribal marks. For that reason, the boy was spared, right? Police was called and that was taken care of. So that's something very positive. However, it is done negatively, where during the Biafran War, this is a war that happened in 1967 and it ended in 1970, and it's a war that killed about 1 million Nigerians. It's a war between the Biafra and Nigeria. And part of the reasons, or part of the way people were murdered during this time was, now it was difficult to find an article to explain this. My parents did share this with me, where if a soldier who happens to be an Igbo soldier walks into a home where there is a mixture of, let's say, Igbo and Yoruba, right? Just based on looking at the faces of these different groups, or these two groups, the Igbo soldier can murder all the Yoruba just because of the tribal mark. So yes, you can see that people are able to discriminate against you really by just looking at your face, right? And that's sipping to today's culture and the reasons why Africans are shying away from tribal markings, or why Africans hate tribal markings. Women, according to articles that I read, said they would never marry a man with tribal marks. Even if this man is the last man on earth, they wouldn't do it, simply because they feel as though men with tribal markings, it's a misconception, obviously, are uneducated. They believe these men are traditional and they do not compromise. They believe these men are the family of these men still practice the rituals, which is the juju, so they don't want to have anything to do with it. There are men who have said that the women they would like to marry refuse to marry them because they have tribal markings. Now vice versa, men would say they would never marry women with tribal markings. So as a result of this, people are shying away from marking their children because they don't want their children to face discrimination. And you can see that there is tribalism in Africa. That's our biggest problem. We don't have racism in some parts of Africa, right? But we do have tribalism. That's a massive thing across Africa. So a lot of times these tribal marks are a way for us to really discriminate against each other or show favoritism. It just depends, right? Now, there is a trend of one Africa, one Nigeria, one nation, one continent. And people are saying that if we're moving to this oneness, then tribal mark is a way of causing that divide. And others are saying that it is celebrating our uniqueness. It is celebrating our uniqueness that helps us unify as a nation. So just to know that we are diverse as a people with the different markings we have is a great way for us to really celebrate us as a nation. Now, I have a lot of things to say, but I'll keep mine as reserve as always. But I do want to hear your opinion though. Should this be something Africans continue to practice, or should this be something that is banned completely? I want to hear your opinion. As always, I do love getting news from you guys. You guys are fantastic. So I do want to hear what you think about this. But of course, don't forget to subscribe. Click on the notification bell to be the first to receive any new content. I'll see you again soon next week.